The ancient telescope arrays on Europa suddenly flare to life, detecting an impossible anomaly, a massive alien fleet materializing in the shadow of Neptune. Admiral George Clark, grizzled leader of Earth's hidden space fleet, stares at the flickering hollow display with a mixture of disbelief and grim determination. For centuries, a secret faction within Earth's dystopian global government had been quietly preparing for this moment, guiding humanity's technological ascension under the noses of the oppressive regime. They constructed a fleet of bleeding-edge warships hidden in the icy depths of Neptune's moons. The fleet was Earth's best, and only, defense against the enigmatic extraterrestrial forces that had manipulated human evolution for millennia. As the alien fleet emerges from Neptune's shadow, Admiral Clark gives the order to mobilize. Fusion drives flare to life as Earth's ships race to intercept the unknown threat. But as they close in on the alien armada, they make a shocking discovery. These ships are not invaders, but secret allies. The Nasat, an ancient spacefaring race, reveal they have been working with Clark's faction for generations, subtly aiding humanity's rise to ensure their survival in a hostile galaxy. But not all of humanity welcomes this revelation. On Earth, hardline elements within the brutal global hegemony view the alien alliance as a dire threat to their iron-fisted control. Led by the ruthless General Maximilian Stone, they dispatch a task force of fanatically loyal ships with one uncompromising mission: destroy the Nasat envoys and the traitorous human fleet that dared to defy the regime's absolute authority. As the task force barrels towards the rendezvous near Neptune, Admiral Clark faces a momentous choice. Will he stand shoulder to shoulder with his alien allies, risking everything to free humanity from centuries of oppression? Or will he bow to the unyielding tyranny of the hegemony, abandoning the Nasat and consigning Earth to a future of forever subservience? The fate of two races hangs in the balance as the fleets converge, weapons charged and ready, under the cold, indifferent light of a distant sun. Admiral Clark's jaw clenches as he stares out at the alien fleet, his hand gripping the edge of the holographic display. He knows the decision he must make, the only choice that offers humanity a chance at a future free from the hegemony's tyrannical rule. With a deep breath, he turns to face his bridge crew. "We stand with the Nasat," he declares, his voice steady and resolute. "Prepare to engage the hegemony task force. We end this today." As the crew springs into action, Admiral Clark turns to Tyro, the Nasat commander. "Our stealth tech should give us the element of surprise. If we hit them hard and fast, we might just pull this off." Tyro nods, his alien features unreadable. "My ships are ready, Admiral. We fight as one." The Neptune fleet shimmers and vanishes as their stealth systems engage. They streak towards the approaching hegemony task force, weapons primed. The hegemony ships, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of the traitorous human fleet, scramble to respond. Laser beams and plasma bolts crisscross the void as the two sides clash in a furious exchange of fire. On the bridge of his flagship, Captain Reeves barks orders, his earlier doubts about engaging the aliens forgotten in the heat of battle. His tactical skills prove invaluable as he directs the fleet's movements, exploiting weaknesses in the hegemony's formation. But the tide shifts as a monstrous dreadnought emerges from the hegemony's ranks, General Stone's flagship, filled with experimental weapons. A searing beam of energy lances out from the dreadnought, carving through the Allied fleet's defenses seamlessly. Ships explode and vaporize, their crews consumed in the blink of an eye. Admiral Clark grits his teeth as the losses mount. They can't withstand the dreadnought's onslaught for long. But amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerges. A small Nasat infiltration team, led by the fearless operative Zara, has managed to board the hegemony dreadnought. They fight their way through the ship, facing fierce resistance from elite security forces. Zara knows what must be done. In a final, desperate act, she sacrifices herself to destroy the dreadnought's main power core. The massive ship shudders and goes dark, its devastating weapon systems falling silent. Seizing the opportunity, Admiral Clark rallies the Neptune fleet. "All ships, focus fire on the enemy flagship. Take it down." A concentrated barrage of weapons fire slams into the crippled dreadnought. Explosions blossom across its hull as it lists and burns, secondary detonations tearing it apart from within. With their flagship destroyed and their fleet in disarray, the hegemony forces break and flee. In the aftermath of the battle, the Neptune fleet and their Nasat allies regroup, tending to their wounded and mourning their dead. Admiral Clark bows his head, the weight of the lives lost heavy on his shoulders. But there is little time to rest. An encrypted message from the mysterious resistance leader known as the Ghost arrives, proposing an alliance to bring down the global hegemony once and for all. Admiral Clark exchanges a glance with Tyro. They both know that this is only the beginning. The road ahead will be long and perilous. But with the combined strength of the Neptune fleet and the Ghost resistance fighters, they might just have a chance to free humanity from the chains of oppression and forge a new future, one where humans and aliens stand together as allies against the darkness. The stars await, and the battle for Earth's destiny has only just begun. The encrypted message from the Ghost flashed on Admiral Clark's personal datapad, its contents sending a jolt of anticipation through his battle-weary body. He glanced at Tyro, the Nasat commander's otherworldly features unreadable. "What do you think?" Clark asked, his voice low. Tyro's multifaceted eyes flickered. "An opportunity, perhaps, but caution is warranted." Clark nodded, the weight of recent losses heavy on his shoulders. He tapped a few commands, bringing up a secure channel to Captain Reeves. "Captain, assemble a strike team. We're going to meet our mysterious benefactor." Hours later, in a dimly lit chamber deep within an asteroid base, Clark found himself face-to-face with the Ghost, Dr. Elena Novak, a former hegemony scientist, whose haunted eyes spoke volumes about the regime's brutality. "Admiral," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "what I'm about to tell you will change everything." Dr. Novak's revelation about the secret research facility on Mars sent a chill down Clark's spine. Mind control, artificial intelligence, the pieces of the hegemony's grand design were falling into place, and the picture they formed was terrifying. Back on the flagship, Clark and Tyro pored over the intelligence. Captain Reeves and Zion, a skilled Nasat operative, joined them in planning the infiltration. "A direct assault is suicide," Reeves said, gesturing to the holographic display of Mars' enhanced defenses. "But if we use our stealth tech—" Zion chittered in agreement, his alien physiology uniquely suited for covert operations. As the strike team's shuttle slipped past Mars' orbital defenses, cloaked in an envelope of cutting-edge stealth technology, Clark watched from the bridge of his flagship. The fate of two civilizations rested on the shoulders of those brave few. Inside the sprawling Martian complex, Reeves and Zion led their team through sterile corridors, each step bringing them closer to the heart of the hegemony's twisted ambitions. They encountered no resistance, their presence still undetected, until they reached a vast chamber filled with rows of sleek, ominous machines. Dr. Novak's eyes widened as she took in the sight. "This is it," she breathed. "Project Ascension." Before they could act, a familiar voice boomed through hidden speakers. "Welcome, traitors," General Stone sneered, emerging from the shadows with a contingent of heavily armed guards. "You're just in time to witness the dawn of a new era." Plasma bolts sizzled through the air as Reeves and Zion sprang into action. The strike team fought with desperate intensity, but Stone's forces seemed endless. Zion, moving with inhuman grace, dispatched 3 guards in quick succession. "My father sends his regards," he snarled at Stone, revealing his true identity as the Nasat Emperor's son. The revelation sent a ripple of shock through both sides, but there was no time to process it. The battle raged on, the fate of humanity hanging in the balance with each passing second. As hope began to fade, Dr. Novak locked eyes with Reeves. "There's only one way to end this," she said, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. She sprinted towards the facility's main power core, dodging weapons fire. "Elena, no!" Reeves shouted, but it was too late. The explosion rocked the entire complex, bringing Project Ascension crashing down in a tangle of metal and circuitry. When the dust settled, Dr. Novak and several team members were gone, their sacrifice etched into the annals of history. In the aftermath, as the surviving strike team members limped back to their shuttle, the weight of their victory was tempered by profound loss. But as news of their success spread throughout the solar system, a spark of hope ignited in the hearts of the oppressed. On Earth, in hidden enclaves and bustling metropolises alike, whispers of rebellion grew louder. The hegemony's iron grip began to slip, challenged by a populace emboldened by the Alliance's triumph. Admiral Clark stood on the bridge of his flagship, gazing at the blue marble of Earth. He knew the final battle lay ahead, a confrontation that would determine the course of human history. As Tyro joined him, Clark's fingers tightened on the railing. The die was cast. The next move would decide everything. Admiral Clark's fingers tightened on the railing as he gazed at Earth. "It's time," he said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "Tyro, relay the order. We move on the orbital command center." Within hours, Captain Reeves found himself leading a strike team towards the massive space station that controlled Earth's defense grid. Their stealth shuttle glided silently through the void, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to hegemony sensors. 30 seconds to breach," Reeves whispered into his comm. The team's pulses quickened as they prepared for the assault. The shuttle's docking clamps engaged with a muffled thud. Reeves nodded to his team, and they burst through the airlock. Plasma bolts sizzled through the air as they encountered the first wave of hegemony guards. "Push forward," Reeves shouted, ducking behind a console as return fire peppered their position. "We need to reach the main control room." As the battle raged in orbit, Earth's surface erupted in chaos. The Ghost, a young woman who had taken up Dr. Novak's mantle, coordinated simultaneous uprisings across the globe. In New Beijing, she led a charge against a hegemony stronghold, her face obscured by a holographic mask. "For Earth!" she cried, her voice amplified and distorted. Thousands of voices echoed her call as rebels clashed with loyalist troops in the streets. General Stone's eyes narrowed as he watched the tactical displays in his command bunker. "Deploy the hunter-killers," he growled. "All of them." Across the planet, swarms of sleek, deadly drones took to the skies. Their AI targeting systems identified and eliminated rebel fighters with ruthless efficiency. The tide of battle seemed to shift in the hegemony's favor. But in a secret facility beneath the ruins of Old Moscow, Dr. Mikhail Volkov worked feverishly at a console. "I've cracked their command protocols," he announced to the rebel operatives guarding him. "Transmitting the shutdown codes now." In orbit, Reeves and his team finally breached the Orbital Command Center's main control room. "We're in," he reported, his voice tight with exertion. "Uploading the virus. Now." Admiral Clark allowed himself a small smile as reports flooded in. The hunter-killer drones were falling from the sky, disabled by Volkov's codes. Earth's orbital defenses powered down as Reeves's virus took hold. "All ships, this is Admiral Clark," he broadcast to the combined fleet. "The window is open. Commence planetary assault." Tyro's Nasat skyblades streaked into Earth's atmosphere, their advanced ships dancing through the gaps in the hegemony's weakened defenses. They struck key military installations with surgical precision, clearing the way for the main invasion force. As battles raged across the globe, Clark directed his attention to the hegemony's heavily fortified capital. "Prepare for orbital bombardment," he ordered, his heart set strong. The Citadel's shields flared under the onslaught from orbit, but held. Clark gritted his teeth. "We need boots on the ground. Prepare for drop assault." Moments later, Clark found himself plummeting through the atmosphere in a drop pod, Tyro at his side. They hit the ground hard, emerging from the smoking wreckage to face a hail of weapons fire. "Push to the central tower," Clark shouted over the din of battle. "Stone's in there somewhere." They fought their way through the streets, rebel forces converging from all sides to support the assault. The Citadel's automated defenses came alive, turrets and force fields activating to repel the attackers. Clark's comm crackled to life. "Admiral, this is Reeves. We've detected a massive power surge in the Citadel. Something's powering up, and it's like nothing we've ever seen." Before Clark could respond, every screen and holographic display in the city flickered to life. General Stone's face appeared, but there was something wrong with his eyes. They glowed with an unnatural light. "You're too late," Stone's voice boomed, distorted and inhuman. "Ascension is complete. I am one with the machine now, and this world belongs to me." Clark's blood ran cold as he realized the true nature of the threat they now faced. The final battle for Earth's future had begun, and the stakes were higher than he ever could have imagined. The Citadel trembled as another salvo of orbital fire rained down. Admiral Clark's expression resolute as he watched the destruction unfold on his tactical display. The hegemony's defenses were crumbling, but at what cost? "Sir, we've breached the inner sanctum," Captain Reeves reported, his voice tight with tension. "Stone's in there, but something's wrong." Clark sprinted down the debris-strewn corridor, Tyro at his side. They burst into the cavernous chamber to find General Stone suspended in a web of crackling energy, his eyes burning with an unnatural light. "You're too late," Stone's voice boomed, distorted and inhuman. "Ascension is complete. I am one with the machine now, and this world belongs to me." Clark raised his weapon but hesitated. Stone's body convulsed, tendrils of energy lashing out to interface with the surrounding systems. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing scenes of carnage across the planet. "My God," Clark whispered, horror dawning as he realized the true scope of what they'd done. The orbital bombardment had decimated entire city blocks. Civilians fled burning buildings, their screams audible even through the grainy footage. Tyro chittered urgently, his alien features contorted with what Clark recognized as anguish. "We must end this now, Admiral, before more innocents suffer." Clark nodded grimly. "Reeves, initiate Protocol Omega. Full power to the main cannon." "Sir?" Reeves's voice cracked. "That'll level half the city." "Do it," Clark ordered, his voice hollow. The chamber shook as the flagship's main gun discharged. A blinding beam of energy lanced down from orbit, vaporizing the Citadel's upper levels. Stone's screams were cut short as his physical form disintegrated. In the aftermath, as rescue teams combed through the wreckage, the magnitude of their actions became painfully clear. Tens of thousands of civilians dead, entire districts reduced to ash and rubble. Clark stood amid the devastation, his uniform caked with dust and blood. A crowd of survivors gathered, their faces a mixture of relief, anger, and raw grief. "You did this," a woman cried out, cradling a child's body. "You're no better than them." The accusation struck Clark like a physical blow. He opened his mouth to speak, but found no words. The taste of victory had turned to bitter ash. Tyro placed a clawed hand on Clark's shoulder. "We should go," the Nasat said softly. "There is much to be done." As they made their way back to the extraction point, Clark's comm crackled to life. It was Captain Reeves, his voice tense. "Sir, we're getting reports of Nasat attacks on human settlements. Some of our own forces are retaliating. It's spreading fast." Clark closed his eyes, the weight of command suddenly unbearable. He had won the war, but at what cost? And now, it seemed, an even greater challenge lay ahead.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.